Preparing live stream. Oh, geez, hang on. It's still preparing here, folks. Sorry about that. Setting up the meeting for a custom streaming device. Done. Here we go.
Somebody's printer is in the background making noise, so if that could be muted, that'd be great. YouTube says we're live.
Okay, so it looks like we're live, folks. So welcome to the Worldwide Slot Car Chat number 235. Oh my gosh, and everybody's here. We got Tony, Don, Jeremy, Luff, John, Chris, Jim, Dennis, Mike, Wayne. Oh my gosh, Garth, Bob. Oh, and people are joining us. I'm speaking. Gio, Tom, Courtney. Well, I guess it's our weekly opportunity to talk about slot cars. So if anybody has any show and tell this week, I'd be happy to highlight you. Anybody? No? Oh, there we go. Dennis, what have you got, sir?
Good morning, all. Just let me hook up my other camera. I'm busy with a project for a customer at Electric Dreams, and it started out like this. If you could see that. AC A98. This is a 1/24th scale, one of those super detailed German body kits that come from a company called Fine Design, a gentleman by the name of Karl-Heinz Hornberg in Germany who makes these kits, and one of our customers has bought this. He also bought a Michael Nemus nuts and bolts chassis that will go underneath this, specially designed for this particular car, with this rear motor design so that it allows it's going to allow a full cockpit. So I've been busy working on this. So far, I have a body painted in a very nice Aston Martin style metallic green, which is the closest that I could get to whatever the car was painted. You know, we're looking at photographs from 1964, and it becomes difficult. The photograph on the box tends to suggest that it was in plain aluminum at the time, but I think that maybe the metallic green, which is how it raced, will probably look a little bit better. Just the painting in itself was an issue, because the primer that I put on the first time went fish eyes everywhere, and I had to take it all off again and clean everything up and reprime and respray. There's a lot of detail in this thing. Here's the cockpit that's going to go into it that I've been building up over the last couple of days with decals and photo etched parts. You could see all of the detail in the cockpit. This little
logo on the steering wheel.
Even the logo on the steering wheel, which is a decal that I had to cut out of the decal sheet and put in, because I had to paint the steering wheel. There's this little photo etched ring around the boot of the gear shift lever. There's a decal that has all of the it's difficult to do this. A decal that has all of the instruments on it with a photo etched plate that goes over the top of it to give you all those nice little. See if I can get it to focus better. To give all the nice little bits and pieces that go, you know, the bezels around the edge. There are exhaust pipes in here waiting. There are the side plates. There are other photo etched pieces still coming. There's a rear deck with a spare wheel on it. All of these kind of things that are still coming up. So by next week, it will probably have been delivered. So I'll take a couple of photographs when I'm done, so that I can show you guys what it looks like next week. the kit fortunately came with some urethane tires front and rear, and so I modified a set of scale auto, because all of this is scale auto mechanicals that are in here with 3mm axles and so on. I modified the wheels and had to turn down the inserts a little so that they fitted, and then modified the wheels to glue the urethane tires on, because I couldn't get foam tires that were big enough and narrow enough. So, so far it's all starting to fit together quite well. I think it will all look pretty good once it's done. Yeah, it's going to have a very nice stance, and I think it'll all look good. So that's what I'm up to. It's a very nice kit. The quality of the parts is really good. The all of the screens and so on are all vacuum formed, but the guy who did the vacuum forming really made some good molds, because if you cut them carefully, they fit very, very closely to the body. It's not like sometimes you get these things where it looks like the guy just plunge molded the clear parts. These ones fit very well. There's some little machined pieces for the headlights. There are little molded taillight lenses in here that are still going to be done, red and orange ones, and they all have photo etched backing plates to give them some shine when they go on. So yeah, it's pretty fancy. So that's what I'm up to. I just thought I'd let you show you guys.
Are you going to be able to fix that screen with canopy glue then, Dennis?
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Yeah, there's canopy glue, and then there's a set of decals that go over the top there, so that
Less visible.
It'll be less visible. The same at the back, and then the side windows have these photo etched bezels that go around the edge that still have to be painted black. Nice though, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a heck of a kit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful kit. I mean, it's not cheap, right? I don't recall exactly how much those things cost right now. I can look it up, but the body kits themselves are not an insignificant amount. And then, of course, the chassis is 3 figures in US dollars, and then there's still probably another $80 or $90 worth of mechanical parts that have gone into it, with motors and gears and axles and bearings and guides and all of that kind of stuff.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
very, very nice. Yeah, yeah.
So it's going to be probably a $400 slot car by the time it's done.
Wow.
What
You're creating a model, really, more
Beautiful,
as
though.
much
Yeah,
as-
it really
yeah.
is. It's
Yeah.
absolutely stunning.
what sort of material is canopy glue? What is it? Is it acrylic resin or
No, it's actually wood. The one I use is wood glue, believe it or not. It's
Yeah, you can use
water-based wood glue.
a wood glue that dries clear. The
Yeah.
one that I tend to use is the I think they call it watch crystal glue.
Courtney's got one showing it to us.
This one,
Oh,
the
there's one.
hypo,
Yes, hypo.
the hypo cement. This is what I normally use.
GS?
Chris probably has something. Has Chris Walker on? Yeah, he probably has something that works even better. I don't know.
Canopy glue is great. I mean, depending on, for a motorized model, which really is what you're building for the fine design, the canopy glue is great. If I was actually going to build something that was going to go around a little more in anger, I would probably use some 2-part clear epoxy, but there's tons of stuff you can use. Just be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Microscale makes this stuff called crystal clear. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah. The last thing you want to use is super glue, because it'll just smoke everything up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It'll craze everything for sure.
Yeah, we've all done
I mean, one of the fun things about doing this model has been the fact that although it does come with some very nice instructions, they're all in German. So I spent quite a bit of time sitting here with Google Translate and typing in all the German, and then creating myself a little document with all the English translations of all of it.
Oh well,
Well,
Dennis, there's
Well,
a
Dennis,
book.
if you, I was going to say, if you scanned it and created a either a Word doc or a PDF, you should be able to translate the whole thing, shouldn't you?
No,
Yeah, I tried that with my phone, and yes, I can translate it, but I couldn't find a way to print it
Yeah.
Oh.
from
the
my
way to
phone.
translate it is with your lens. You can. There's a button called camera whilst you're in the Google app, Google
Oh, it's a
Translate
button
app,
called Lens, yeah.
and you just wave the phone over, and it live translates.
Yeah, but then what do you do with that? You've got to leave it on your phone. Right.
You read it and use it. You read the information and remember. Sorry,
Yeah, but
that's the
if
best I
you've
can
got
offer.
something else going on your phone at the time, I wanted something that I could print,
Yeah,
and
I
so
don't
that's
think
how I
that's
did it.
easy.
Besides which, it was a nice what should we call it, academic exercise, or a nice mental exercise to try and type in German. Yeah, find out how difficult it is after a while.
Do you have an umlaut on your keyboard?
I don't have an umlaut, but fortunately, the umlauts and the other things, you don't really need them. The Google Translate is intelligent enough to translate correctly without them. Even those funny little characters that the Germans use for a double S sometimes, and things like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, anyway,
Very,
that's
very.
that's Dennis for today.
Well, that's a heck of a kit. Wow, that's
Mhm.
really, really nice.
Are you going to show us the finished product?
I will take photos, because I think by the time that it's finished, I'll probably finish it over the weekend or early next week. So by the time we get back together again, it will probably quite possibly be back with its owner. However, if it isn't, then I will show you it. Yeah, I may not, because I go into the shop tomorrow. No, I will still have it. So yes, I'll be able to show you the
Or Dennis, if you don't have it, perhaps you could maybe take some quick photos.
I will take photos anyway.
Those anybody interested, if you go on to the Fine Design website, they make tons of different models. Actually, I'll show you one here. It was done not too long ago. And the detail bits that they come up now. You have to build them properly, but the bits in the kits are quite spectacular when they come up.
Yeah, and some of the pieces are tiny. I mean, right? They give you a little, for instance, a little latch that goes on the trunk, the trunk lid. It's tiny. They give you another one, which is the number light that goes above the number that goes on the rear right quarter panel. And if you didn't know that it was a part, you wouldn't be able to decide whether you could throw it away as part of the sprue, or whether you actually have to keep it and and glue it on somewhere.
Yep. Oh no, there's always lots of little
And if you
little rivet heads on the windshield. You don't even know when you look at the kit what they are until you look at it again and again and again, and then you realize, okay, I got to pick all these rivet heads off and stick them all on.
And just so you know, that
what do you
kit
handle
for
those with?
that kit for the A98 at Electric Dreams runs $319.99.
Yeah.
And that's for the body.
Just the kit, just the
That's
body?
for the body kit. No chassis. That's for the body kit.
Wow.
Problem is, I think a lot of these things are made almost handmade in very, very small quantity.
Right.
But
Fine
anyway.
Design they don't make anything except 124s, do they?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's all they
that
know.
stuff's all 124.
No 132nd.
Not that I know of.
Very
Anyway,
cool.
That's me for now.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, thank you very much, Dennis. Jeremy,
You're welcome.
you're up next, sir.
Hey, hopefully my microphone is working right. These are Carrera cars, and what I've done here is I purchased some of them a year ago for like 20 bucks a piece, so I couldn't complain. And I'm wanting to use them as kind of an IROC fun series, but the Superbird wing I know is going to break off and snap. So thankfully, I know a guy who can design parts first try and nails it. So I designed these, and now we're printing them in TPU so they're flexible, but they'll
Oh,
hold their
nice.
shape. And
Good.
so you don't got to worry about if it breaks and they come off. And I've got little
Cool.
tabs in there that they stick down in. This one is kind of a flat top on it, and then this other one, I was trying some different things, and this one's a carbon fiber kind of top on it. But obviously, it's not period correct. But these are not period correct pieces. These are to protect your actual piece if you don't want to get snapped off during a race. You just throw this in, run, let some guy hit you, not worry about it, and then go.
So the carbon fiber effect, is that from the print?
No, that's from the build plate where it sticks down to.
Oh,
It's got like a carbon fiber across it, and as
Oh,
the
okay.
heat melts the plastic, it absorbs that. Or
Oh, and that
in this
transfers
case,
the
it kind
design.
it transfers the design. This one it kind of gets a flat with like a laser color in there. But so anyway, that's what I've been working on. Thankfully, I mean, Garth is amazing. I don't say this enough, but he did this work on this. My first copy that I made, it looked like an idiot drew it, and then Garth took it over, punched it up, and he hit it on the first try. So thank you, Garth, and hopefully we'll have these available. I like to sell these things to people who need them, but like the shipping for something like this small is almost like $4, so it kills anything you do these days trying to ship something that tiny. So anyway, that we'll have it up on our website soon. That's me.
Cool.
That's why they have to be $9.99 a piece.
Very
Well, I
cool.
know it's so hard to like
Yeah.
justify it, and I try to give people a discount. Like if you buy 4, you get like 40% off, which spreads the shipping out. So then shipping is only like $1 a piece, but it's just hard. It's just hard to do to be reasonable with it. I don't understand how companies like Electric Dreams does it, like on small $50 orders. You're spending $6-7 on shipping, but everybody complains about shipping. I know that's the one thing they always hit me up about is like, why do you charge this much for shipping? Well, I'm not going to eat the cost, and then I'm giving them away for free. So hopefully,
and when
like-
when you're a business and your volume is high, you can actually start negotiating rates.
Yeah. So that was me.
Very cool. Very cool.
Jeremy, how much you selling those for?
I haven't started pricing these out, but I'm not going to sell them for very much. They're only going to be maybe $3-4 a piece. for
I
one.
think from a marketing standpoint, I'd sell them for $9.95 and offer free shipping.
Yeah, well, that's what I do on my eBay site. I offer free shipping that way. If you use eBay's free shipping, I've talked about this before, then it's globally free shipping anywhere. Like somebody in the UK orders one, eBay does the transfer from Chicago to the UK, but I charge them a $9.99 flat rate for it. It's when you see that price, you go like $9 for one. You got to factor in, there's shipping on that. So
I think
It's
there'd
just
be
been
less.
weird.
There'd be less from the buyer's standpoint. It's $10. Well, it's not. Well, maybe it's a little bit high, but I get free shipping. But when they look at $4.95 and $4.95 for shipping, I think they balk at that.
yeah, it's a delicate balance you have to do when
Yeah.
you're in small parts like this that are not nice high price items. So.
And then give a quantity discount for the number of pieces they buy.
I do that. If you buy 2 or more, you get like 10%,
Yeah.
and then 3 or more is like 30%. I try to expand that because then I don't have to pay for shipping once, and you get 5 parts. It works out better for me and you.
Is
That's
the
what we've been doing.
Carrera part readily available?
I have no idea if you can even buy those wings, the Super
No.
Bird wings.
Yeah. So no sweat.
Yeah, I know.
$9.95 with shipping. Hey,
Yeah,
not a problem.
I know. It's probably not going to be very big in Europe, but I've got Garth working on DTM wings as well. So hopefully we'll have some DTM wings that he'll get kicked out for the European market.
Wow, you're working on that first 100, man. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm making tens of dollars, as you said. Garth's making zeros of dollars. Sorry, Garth. Now get back to work, Garth. You're sitting there doing nothing. All right, that's all I got.
Yeah, see, there you go, Garth. No good deed goes unpunished.
Nope.
Oh, that's awesome. Those are awesome, though. I mean, now, if somebody wanted them not to be flexible, as silly
Yeah.
as that might sound, could you do it in a different type of
I could
material?
I could do it in a harder a plastic, but again, why this one won't break, and you know what I mean? Like, why buy one that's possibly going to break on its? I mean, right here, I mean, it's flexible, snaps back every time. But yes, I could print these in a hard plastic, but that would be
Yeah.
crazy.
The only reason I ask is that, for example, someone may want an actual replacement part.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true.
But printing them, Jeremy, will never quite achieve the finish that the original would have had. No,
Well, if I do it in my resin printer, it will achieve this. It'll be perfect and paintable and sandable and everything, but it'll still be breakable. So
yeah. Well,
Right.
and,
Good
and
work,
these
nevertheless.
you can paint this, but the first time you bend it, the paint's just gonna crack and peel.
Yeah.
But paint does stick to it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Does lacquer break off?
I've not tried lacquer. I tried the Krylon water-based paint, or not Krylon plastic paint. It's for like deck chairs and stuff, and that has a little bit of flex, but it's not enough to preserve it.
Actually,
Lexan bodies lacquer works much better.
Or like the polycarbonate spray or whatever it is.
Right.
Maybe.
yeah, and
maybe.
there's also paint you can buy for automotive bumpers that actually has a lot of flex agent in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
paint does stick to it, so I guess there's more testing I could do in that regard. But for now, it's just nice to have something that I don't got to worry about when somebody drives the car shattering it.
Right. Very cool. Oh, so does anyone else have anything else for show and tell, or Tony, you didn't get any shipments this week, Tony?
No, I'm saving that for Christmas.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not
Okay.
buying anything.
I
yet
have one
until-
more, but I just need to
until I
find
get
it.
everybody else's presents.
Your delivery
well, you know,
driver might want you to space that out a little though, Tony, because all of that in one day is going to be.
No,
But-
I'm gonna say you can buy your mailman a truss.
now he would just struggle to get down the chimney.
So and Dennis, you said you had something? Sorry.
He can't hear as his earbuds are out, but yes,
Oh, his
he did-
earbuds
he
are out.
did
Oh,
say so,
shoot,
yeah.
okay. Sorry,
Yeah, I
Dennis,
got-
you said you had
I
something?
got
Yeah.
one more.
Oh, please.
Where's my camera? Hold on. Oh God, we run this.
As it happens, I've got something to show you. After Dennis.
Okay, we
Okay, awesome.
awesome. We have this LMP class that we run at Electric Dreams every now and then. It's one of the Tuesday night classes, and everybody's been running lately. All the guys are running the Scale Auto hypercars and things like that. I decided I'm going to take a completely different approach to this. So I started with a white kit from MR Slot Car, and basically what I've done is I've gone. We're limited to 25K motor. So what I did was I used the pod that they have for the Sidewinder 25K slimline motor, put a 25K Scale Auto into it, and I'm going to try and see how that works. Haven't tried it yet. It's ready to go. I'll take it with me tomorrow and see what it does.
And that's their
Quite-
333, is it?
That's a 333, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks pretty good, and hopefully it'll work reasonably well. I don't know.
I struggle to put that 1990s vehicle in with the LMP, with the hypercars at the moment, categorically speaking. But if it suits, it suits.
Yeah, I see guys running the original Audi R8s, the very first ones, which is not a lot long after this car was running.
Yeah.
And so the thing about the Scale Auto hypercars is that they're so damn long. It's a really long car, and I struggle with driving those cars. They don't feel good to me. They don't respond to my driving style the way that I like the car to respond. So I thought, well, I'm going to try this and see what happens. Anyway, one interesting thing about it is this particular pod is designed to take either a 14.5 or a 15.5 diameter Sidewinder gear from MR Slot Car with either a 4.5 or a 5.5 pinion. Unfortunately, if you put the 15.5 gears in, the motor won't turn because the gear actually fouls the body mounting post at the back of the car.
Oh,
Right in there. So you have to run with a 14.5. And even then you have to shave just a little bit off the post of the car to clear the gear right at the back there. A little bit off the post in the body and a little bit off the molding in that corner of the in that recess of the chassis, so that the gear clears properly.
that's fine. But where would you go for a 4.5 pinion?
To MR Slot car, they have them even with the 1.5 millimeter hole
Mhm.
in them. So
And have they got a full tooth count range then?
yeah, well, 8, 9s, and 10s, I think.
That's majority. What you want?
Dennis, I think that car is going to work really good.
I hope so. We'll give it a try. I mean, I've been working on one of my Scale Auto hypercars, the Cadillac hypercar, going from taking out the long can motor, putting in a short can motor with adapters on each end, turning the motor around because it was an NSR motor that had been running in one of my Moslers. And so those things they drive off the right-hand side, the right-hand side of the car, and the Scale Autos all drive off the left-hand side. So I put the motor in and I put the pinion on the end bell end so that the motor's still running in the same direction, because the motor had run enough that it's slow if you turn it backwards.
Right.
And so that helped to get a car that handled it a little bit better. And then I've been playing with weight. And eventually, after trying 4 or 5 different types of tires, I came across a particular tire wheel combination that works pretty well. I'm using on that car, the Scale Auto AS20, those the gray ones, on a 15.8 rim with some foam inside them, and that works pretty well. So now I've got the kind of traction that I need for that long car, but it's still a very point and squirt style of driving that's not that good for me. I'm getting there, but hopefully I think this car's going to work better.
Yeah, they're running, the hypercars are running almost outright track records at every place we've run them on. But the motor, in my opinion, is too violent. I think you need to kill the bottom end a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of the guys
Stock
that are running the long cans in the Scale Autos have gone to the NSR motor, the NSR 25K long can motor, which has a deal less torque, or some other motor like the SRC motor, which is better, because that Scale Auto long can motor that comes with the cars, has 400 gram-centimeters of torque, and it's violent is a good word for it.
Yeah, it's the only car that I've had that it will not turn the motor over if you put it on a 9-volt battery.
Yeah.
Wow.
Quick picture for you, Wayne. That's the MR Slot car 4.5 mil pinions.
Oh yeah.
And they come in 6, 7, and 8 tooth variations.
And that particular one must be on a McLaren or some other.
Yeah, that's a McLaren I did ages ago, Dennis.
Because if you put that pod into the Ferrari chassis, then at the back of the gear it fouls on that little area where the body screw goes in, and it just locks it up solid. You can't do anything with it.
Yeah. And those are really good quality pinions, Wayne. They're all made. They were made by a company called Sonic.
I think you've spoken of Sonic before, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're using the Sonic. We're using the MR Slot car gears on the NSR angle winder cars as well as the hypercar. They mesh really well, and
yeah, they're very nice.
And they have markings on them, so you know what number it is. Other than the fact that electric blue and violet are virtually the same.
Yeah. Yeah, there likely will be a change in manufacture. The guy from Sonic is a guy by the name of Phil Hackett, and Phil's not making gears anymore. So if you want to get the Phil Hackett MR slot car gears, it's probably a good time to get them now.
I'll drop in there on my way to Electric Dreams, because it's a couple of miles. The two places are just a couple of miles apart. All of the stuff or most of the stuff that I have manufactured for slot cars comes out of Sonic as well. My guide nuts and wheels and things like that. The nice part about that is that Phil himself was a slot car racer, and so he understands what we want. He knows the kind of tolerances that we need. He knows you don't have to be able to specify right down to the last little detail what tolerances you want or what material you need. If you tell him I want them out of aluminum, he knows to use the right kinds of aluminum for different types for different jobs. He knows if you want magnesium parts, he knows how to do that. He has the ability to make magnesium stuff, which some of the other machine shops don't have. Things like that.
It's the enthusiasm as much as anything, isn't it? Because a lot of machine shops have the capability, but unless you want billions of the things, they're just not interested.
Yeah, we have another guy down here who has a turret machining business, and he doesn't want to talk to anybody unless it's like 30,000 parts at a run,
Yeah.
And even when he does do me a favor and machine some bits and pieces for me, if I need 1 bar's worth, he will machine 5 bars worth and then hold them in stock or hold them in his warehouse until I eventually, over a number of years, pull off enough of them to sell. Because like he said, he's not in the business of setting up machines. He's in the business of making parts.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to set up a machine for 500 parts, because it doesn't take more than an hour to make the parts, but it takes him, half a day to set the machine. Anyway, that's neat.
When you were using the MR, Jim, when you were using the gears, which gears you're using those in the NSR Sidewinder pods?
Well, both, yeah. We're using. I'm sorry, I'm just typing something. We have a class for NSR Classics, which is, you know what those are, and we're using the quote angle winders spec gears in that, and then so we're using the I think it's a 7.5 pinion with the MR slot car gear, the spur gear, and that works great. So I'm using them in most of my cars because we run the angle winder, again, quote angle winder gears in the Sidewinder cars. I think they mesh better and the diameter is lower, so you don't have to worry about track clearance.
Yeah. Well, you can you can certainly run in any, it depends on your rules. You can run the 16.5 straight Sidewinder gear in an NSR 2-degree angle pod. You might have to ovalize the holes a tiny bit, but this is matched up with a 7.5 mil pinion. I know you guys like to run, lower numeric ratios, and this thing with a little bit of fiddling and stuff like that, the gears are like butter.
Yeah, they run in my Can-Am car, which is a Porsche 908. I'm running, I think, 1431 with a stock motor. And it's a rocket ship. I think it's better than a 25K motor. It's smoother and has just as much speed.
And then in the Scale Auto, you're using a Sidewinder spur gear again there, Jim?
Yeah. I haven't changed that one, but I think it's a 16mm gear, so those will fit. We've been going back and forth on that class because we're just getting it going, whether it requires stock gears or not, but it looks like we're going to open the gears up.
Yeah, I went straight on the scale auto hypercars. So what I've done is gone to can't remember. I think it's the slotting plus pinion, the ones with the little
That's
set
right.
screws
Yeah.
where you can screw it on, where you can tighten them up rather than press it on.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
Which
a
is
whole
which is
minefield,
nice
aren't
if
they?
you're trying to test different ratios.
I say they're a whole minefield because they're available in a multiple of diameters, etc. And it's
Correct. Yeah.
yeah,
And between slotting plus and scale auto, they both have them in different
Yeah.
diameters
yeah,
and either in brass or steel as well.
yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Okay, sorry, I broke in a little too early. My fault. Tony, what have you got? What have you got? Thank you very much, Dennis, by the way. Tony, what have you got for us to see?
Lost her at the moment. I lost the picture. Hold on.
Oh, we can see you.
Yeah, no, I can't see you. Hold on a minute. There we go. I bought this little tool.
Oh, yeah.
Little grinding pen.
Oh, if you pull it more to your right, we can see it. There we go. Oh, yeah.
And a,
What shape is the end, Tony? Is it a ball end or a straight flue to what?
Sorry?
Is it a ball-ended tool or is it a complete shank worth of?
Yeah,
cutting
like
area?
shankworth, like little cutting tools.
Yeah, I've got you.
Beautiful. If you spent less on tools, Tony, you might be able to heat your house up a little more.
Sorry?
I said if you spent less on tools, you might be able to heat your house a little more.
Yeah. But put it on AliExpress, £7.
Now is it battery powered or how does it work?
Yeah, you get the cable with it as well.
Oh, I see. So it's for a Dremel tool.
Yeah,
It uses a USB charging system.
Oh, so it's an actual. Oh, neat. Okay. Oh, look at that.
He's
Wow.
making chips, although the noise suppression is stopping the sound.
it's a little grinder. That's all.
Very
That's all I've got to show this week.
Does it run at multiple speeds, Tony? Has it got that adjustment, or is it just on and off?
Goes on and off, backwards and forwards.
Well, that's neat. To be able to go backwards is sometimes useful.
Yeah.
I've got a similar thing. Doesn't cost a lot more money. It runs at 4 or 5 different speeds.
That's not bad.
Rechargeable, same way. Plug in a USB. There's lots of variations available of that kind of thing on there. It's a good place to have a look for them.
And I bought this little.
Oh, we've got more. Hang on. Let me just spotlight you. Sorry about that.
Little vice thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Little vise.
It's all stainless steel. It opens up, got little holes in it.
Oh, so do they have little pins for bending metal or how does that work?
Well, just for painting.
Oh, for painting.
Doing small stuff.
Oh, okay.
I bought that on AliExpress as well. So there we go. Not a lot to spend.
If you've got things that have got an irregular shape, then you can put pins in various holes on the top there
Yeah,
and grab them.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
that's me done. No cars this week. Maybe in a couple of weeks' time when the pre-orders come in. I've got a load of pre-orders.
Well, I imagine your postie's kind of happy. He's having a light load for a little while.
Having a rest.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. Does anyone else have anything to show and tell? Anybody?
Doesn't sound like it.
No, I guess not. Well, did we want to move on to Club Corner? You talk about your weekly racing exploits?
Looks like the one, yes.
Oh, Dewan's at, oh, right, Dewan. He's, oh, you have to
There we
unmute.
go.
Dewan. There we go. Yeah, you got you.
Okay, yeah, this past weekend, had a great experience at Far Out Slot Car Club. Let me see if I can get my share up. They changed the interface.
Yeah,
For me.
there was an upgrade. Yeah, I know your
Yeah, it took 10
your
minutes
share
for
may
me.
your share may now be a Sunny. We don't know.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. All righty. Well, we had two classes. We were at the Claremont Raceway, and we had two classes going on, which was the Reval Slots that we did last week or last race, and then the my favorite, which is the Fly. I have a nice little fly car that's been somewhat competitive, and as you can see, I did not finish last.
Is that just Fly Classics? All of the Fly Classics?
Yeah, Fly Classic.
Okay.
It's the Le Mans series. They have a period of that are they have to race the Le Mans, and there are certain cars that have been banned, I guess, because they just perform too well. So to keep everything in order, we do have a short list. Not short, it's still an extensive list. He actually shared with us that for the Far Out Club, he just went through the inventory of the available cars for the 8 or 9 classes that we race. It's my number's going to be off a little bit, but my recollection was it was around 1,700 different variations of cars that we could select from for the 9 classes. So we do have quite a bit of variety between them, but there are some restrictions on things just to make things a little bit more equal. But this was at the Claremont Raceway, which is Jim Wiseman's custom track. It's a wood routed track, 3 lanes. I don't have a picture of it. It's been in the past, I've shown it in the past, but it's a 3-lane wood routed track with a very nice arcing bank. And yeah, we have so much. The talent in this group is just ridiculous because to get into the top 10, it's a challenge. You see, I actually even beat out Baba Hooley, which
Yeah.
and Stephen Farr Jones and a few other people that I hardly ever beat out. That car really came through. I still was a poor driver, but the car was good. I'm getting better, and hopefully one of these days, if the top 7 or 8 guys decide not to race, I might make the podium.
Well done. That's awesome.
Well, that was the first race, though, and you can see Walter Baines. He's just right on it. His cars was just really hooked up. He's just a phenomenal driver now. He's really come to, and Kevin Tabucci, him and Walter, they're pretty much teammates, and they share cars. They actually pole together, they race together, they do all that stuff together. So they're always in the top.
So
And
so it's Jim's track, and he came in second with a loaner car.
loaner cars, absolutely. That's what I was going to point out. I was going to point that out. He was setting records and all kind of things, but with loaner cars, and the loaner cars, as you can see, there's a different car in each lane. So it's a challenge because you don't get to keep that car for all 3 races. You're doing 3 different cars for the 3 different lanes. And so yeah, it makes it quite challenging.
But I guess he has home ice advantage, though, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. And he's a diehard 1960s racer that's
And as the track owner, he's the guy who supplies the loaner cars.
well, no, these were supplied by Stephen Farr Jones. So
They were? Oh, okay.
yeah. But yeah, so that's why, and he gets them a week in advance. He gets a test drive.
Mhm.
Or I'll say a week in advance, but he gets them in advance, and he gets the test ride.
Has he taken out that Le Mans start that he had on the track?
Oh, it's still there. So that's a creative part of his track. He has a Le Mans start, and like I said, I showcased that a couple of times. So I didn't do it again this time, but yeah, you put the cards in the Le Mans start, and when it's ready to go, then you got to come around and out.
Oh, so it's still there. I was watching some of the video, and it looked like it wasn't there anymore.
Oh, it's still there. Yeah, it's
Oh,
still
okay.
a start. Yeah, and this was the first race, and the second race. Where's my arrow for this? I can bring it up. Oh no, that's not a race. Oh, here we go. I hit the wrong way. There we go. Okay. This was the second race, and this was the Reval GT 1 and 2s, and this is my low quality. I hope you guys can hear me okay. This race was, I enjoyed it because if you see in the red lane, I got in the zone for a minute. I did come off 1.5 times. One time I came off, it was still in the slot, but it just, just need to be kind of just barely marshaled. But the other time I did come off. But I was really in the zone. I won that heat by 3-4 laps. It's very nice when you sit up there and you're coming up on somebody, you lap them and you lap them again. So I kind of get, this is a very unique experience for me in particular. So, because I don't do that very often, but I did get in the zone for that one lane, and again, didn't finish last, and I finished ahead of quite a few of the guys that I've always had challenges trying to beat. So, like I said, one of the days when 7 of the guys decide to not show up, I might make the podium one time. But again, this was like I said, Kevin Tabucci. He's him and Walter. They are teammates for the most part, and Jim finished second again with lower cars. And Tom Geezy is a really top flight racer. He doesn't get out to the national races, and I've been trying to encourage him to try to participate in some of them. He's thinking about it. I think we can nudge him, but he's a old time HO racer as well. He's been to the fray and stuff like that. He was really heavy into racing, but so his forte or his background is in HO racing, but he's always the top 3 or 4 in all classes for our club. And we're winding down to the last 2 races. So I think we have one race. We have 3 races, including the team race. But this next weekend we're going to be at Eddie Shore's router track, and we'll be racing the GT 1 and 2s again. This is going to be 3 races in a row that we're racing these cars. So the first time around, which was the last race, I performed poorly. I was second to the last, but this time, like I said, I got a little used to one car, the Dodge Viper, and maybe I'm gonna practice a little bit more. I might be able to get a little bit better coming into Eddie's race, because cars definitely performs well. It's just that the drivers just need to get a little better tuning up. And that's about it for the Far Out Race Club. I'll share here.
Wow, so you're a mid packer now. How about that?
Yes, that's how bad. It's refreshing feeling to kind of not be at the bottom of the pack. So I'm getting the mid pack. I haven't made it to the top half yet. I think
That's okay. Dewan, you're Team Haas. There's only one way to go but up.
Exactly. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, so Jim, you're next. What's up?
I'm waiting for Dewan to come out to Northern California to race.
I might consider that one of these days.
Well, we will welcome you with open arms, as they say. We had our first Saturday of the month race last week at MTown, and we were greeted by a brand new sign. This is not a sign, this is on the video screen. There's a big video screen right over the middle of the track, and it alternated between this and some other information, including all the track records. He's keeping track records for all the classes in lap totals, qualifying lap, and race lap. So doing some great things at MTown, creating some more excitement. And we do qualify You see here it says round robin for GT2. So each race day we have 3 classes, 2 of which are qualifying races, and the last race is a round robin. So that saves a little bit of time so we can get out of there at a reasonable hour. The NSR Classics is one you're going to want to work on, Dwan, and hopefully Dennis too. We're having a big race February 1st, the week before the Super Bowl. It's NSR Classics, and it's
Hey,
the closed
Jim?
cockpit. Yeah.
Is that all the competitors that were there the day? I'm just curious about the Ford. There's a lot of Fords I noticed when I watched your video. That
Yep.
seems to make up the bulk of the participants.
Well,
Is there a reason why, or just
there's a couple reasons. One, that it's the NSR Classics closed cockpit. So 3 of the 4 cars are Fords. It's a Ford P68, the Ford Mark 1/2, which are the same basically, the Ford Mark IV, and the Porsche 917K. So those are the only 4 cars that are legal, and I think they're all here. There's Fords, there's there's a Mark IV, there's a P68, there's a 917, and a Mark I right there in front, or a Mark II. I can't see whether it's a Mark I or Mark II. So it's
Mark 1.
6 out of your 12 competitors here all chose the Ford. Is that the hot car for your track? That's kind of what I'm
well,
wondering.
I'll get to that. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it is. So that's the grid. We had 15 people there. I think we only had 13 in each class. A couple people didn't run one or two of the classes. So that's the grid for NSR Classics. And like we say, we're going to have a big sponsored race on February 1st for this class. The basic rules are it's those 4 cars, any chassis from NSR, any gear. It's going to be a spec tire with limited wheel selection. So it's any 16 millimeter NSR wheel. So there's only like 4 of them. So we're limiting the wheel, and it will be a spec tire, which is going to be very similar to the gray tires that NSR has now. They're just going to do them in a different color for this race. I think it's going to be a great race. It'll be a 2-day race. We haven't set the exact format, but qualifying, maybe heats on one day and then semis and mains, or we'll probably have that last chance race again. So we're working on it. It's a semi work in progress. The rules are out now on our NorCal page, but it's a great class, and they're extremely fast on this track. They're running in the 5.5 range, and the GT3 cars are about the same. So they're one of the faster classes, or the fastest classes that we have. And we run the stock motor, but when you gear the stock motor up, like I said with my Can-Am car, they are really fast. Second class was Reval Slot Group 2, which is a pretty good variety until you see the podium. And Reval Slot GT2, again, a good variety until you see the podium. The top 3 in each class were all 3 P68s. It's short, it's nimble, and it works really good on this track. So it seems to be the car of choice. I learned something from Walt. You talked about Walt Baines. I learned something, unfortunately, on the bad side. I hooked my controller up backwards and ended up, I was actually about a third of a lap ahead of Braden going into the last heat. And I hooked my controller up backwards, and that was the end of that. Group 2 went a little bit better. It set a new lap qualifying record with the Opal, and the Opals, they're not dominant, but most of the faster guys are running the Opals. It's the longest car. It seems to be really stable on this track. And in Reval Slot, the car of choice, as it was at the Reval Slot, it wasn't a nationals, but the big Reval Slot race we ran last June, is the Marcos. I loaned Braden my Supra, and he came in second with it. So, and excuse me, third. Frankie came in second with a Corvette. So it's dominated more or less by the Marcos, but that doesn't mean it has to be a Marcos to be up front. If you have a good Corvette or a good Supra, the Ferraris were running pretty good. So there's a number of cars that run pretty good on this track in the Reval Slot class. So that's it for me. That was last week. We have a week off this week. First time in a long time we've had a race weekend without a race, so we'll go from there.
Very cool. Very cool.
You said it wasn't a single car category until you saw you didn't think it was a single car category until you saw the podiums. Well, the podiums had enough variety. I expected to see 3 the same in all 3 categories in some ways.
The Marcos seems to be the fastest on that track in GT2. I had some issues with mine in the race, but I had the fastest lap of the race. So the Marcoses are really fast. And at the big race we had in June, I think 5 or if not 6 of the 6 cars in the A main were Marcos.
With the narrow tires or the wide tires at the rear?
We run the narrow tires on them. That works the best on that track.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically a stock in the GT2. It's basically a stock car. If you have the older Marcos like I had, came with the narrow tires, and so my car was it was massaged a lot and worked on and blueprinted. We do allow you to lower the body and take the little boots off, but other than that, it's pretty much stock. And like I said, the really fast cars can run 5.5 and under. The Reval Slot GT2s run right around 6 flat. So they're not slow, but they're definitely not the fastest class that we run.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, usually Gio has something going on his calendar. I don't know if you're ready to talk about your race week. Of course, Gio's muted. He's ignoring me now.
Got a screen share.
Oh, there we go. We just need some audio from you, Gio.
Can you hear me?
Yep. There we go. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so last night, so we had the 5 of us, I think the usual 5 now. So there was a new guy that joined us, Andre, but he decided to drop out because I think it's for him too much driving to come to our place, especially when he comes back from work. So we have at the moment we are just like most of the nights it's just 5 of us. So the NSR car from Alex last week had had a kind of close contact with the Jan's 720, and the rear body post snapped completely. So he was driving half over the night with just one body post in the front. So I had to do a bit of, not surgery, but kind of stitching up basically the post back into the car. And I use a bit of, some kind of strings, I think it should be Kevlar or something similar, some kind of fiber that I put around the body post, to spread a bit the load with the CA and A6000, which was the same kind of treatment that I did for similar body for the 24 hours of Opal Ricard, and seems that is working pretty well. Actually, for Alex last night, it worked pretty well. I did some work on my R8 and slotted one because a couple of races ago, the car was able to do lower 5.5s, but recently, if I managed to get below 5.7, like a high 5.6, it's kind of a miracle almost. But so I did some working over the weekend, and I thought that I kind of fixed the car, but it's still too slow compared to Alex NSR. So this was the practice. You can already see that Alex is freaking, going 5.52. With a car that has a bit of wonky body post on the rear. Just for be clear, I think I mentioned before, but this NSR 720 is running with a SRP 3D printed chassis and 1 millimeter offset angle winder slotted pod. So the body is all the NSR. The rest is mainly kind of a slotted type of configuration. Then Jan's 720, that's sideways, also on the ball, and my R8 still 5.74. Nothing really, not as good as it should be, let's say. And I don't know what the heck is going on with that car. So maybe time is for a new car. So this is the qualified lineup, and basically kind of a bit of same story as before. 5.52 from Alex. Jan's 5.550 is fluke lap, so he came I think came off at the end of the main straight, and so basically had a quick lap, but I don't know what was his fastest lap before, so basically I gave him second place. And I improved a bit my lap time. James is now running on the 6, but I think he can go even better than that. And the combi with the 6-1 is M6. I think it needs to be retired at one point, so maybe going for an M4, but that's kind of work in progress. So this lineup for race 1, and no big surprises here. Alex got the top of the podium, came second, and Jan was a third. Combi better over James, but only because Combi basically had one off and James instead had to repair. So then we line up for race 2. So and went for the race. This was interesting race because on the last lap, so 125, we're coming around, and that was behind Alex. So I think he put on his last pit stop not enough fuel for finishing the race, but so did Jans. And so what happens was that I was on the outside lane trying to go around Alex because I saw that he was running out of fuel. He got stuck behind Jan's car on the main straight, out of fuel, and so I managed to overtake both of them and go over the finish line, I believe before Alex. So there is a bit of a delay before the lap is recorded, and so there was like 3 seconds left. So I went around coming on the airplane to come back on the infield, and then the race was over. So both of us on the same lap, but still gave the victory to Alex. And I was in front of him at the end of the race. So freaking software, computer scientist. Anyway, so he came first. So basically whatever the system was saying, so that's what we put up as a lineup. So my kind of strategy was a bit better than Alex, but just a bit. So then this is third race in semi-darkness, and this time kind of again I won, but I think there was a bit of a problem because Alex went to the pit for his last pit stop behind the combi, and he didn't manage to use the lane changer inside the pit lane, so he was stuck behind combi that was doing a full service, while Alex just needed a splash and dash, and so I managed to kind of steal that race to him or from him. And Jan was also behind, very, very close to the two of us, so he managed second. And for the last race, so this is completely dark in reverse. So this time I think Alex had a smooth race, no big issues. And because his car is too fast, his car basically has these freaking motors that has a lot of magnetic traction compared to the others. They're all the same. They are sideways Raptors. So up to half of the tank car is a bit slower because of the magnetic power. But after it goes below 50% fuel, basically start putting in fastest laps and catching up on everybody. And so when he's in that mode, it's impossible to keep up with him. And so with the smooth race, he gave us like 5 laps or even more to me and Jan. Although for me, my strategy was a bit messed up because in my first pit stop, I was sucked in by, or actually second pit, so I was sucked in by Jan's car into the pit lane. I still had like more than 10% fuel, and I wasn't trying to use it at all, but was sucked in by Jan's car because I was too close. He went to the pit without telling anybody, so basically I went inside with him. And so I did the refuel, and I lost too much time. It was not the ideal thing. So I think I lost a couple of laps there. And for Alex, everything was smooth and 5 laps difference. So winning, it's, between the 3 of us, it's kind of all kind of close, and it's already tough, especially with a car that is so quick in the second part of his of the race, it's almost impossible to keep up. So it's time for me to change car. Instead of fixing the R8, I think I'm preparing a sideways Ferrari 488. So let's see how that car goes. And I will have some pictures of this build pretty soon. So that's all.
Have you ever considered rotating the cars amongst the competitors at Geo to see how they?
No, because this one, these are their own cars. So
I see.
Although, I take care of Alex's car, so he lives here, so I do any kind of maintenance service. Like the chassis is mine, basically, right? I'm kind of, because with this NSR configuration, it was not competitive at all with the, the motor with the, running on the right-hand side and whatever. So I changed to,
the SRP.
I have plenty of SRP chassis that we used for the PR 24-hour record. So basically, I'm loaning that to him. So, I'm kind of set up the car for him, but he's also he's a very good driver. So basically, he's using the full envelope of performance of that car, and I also does not come off. That's also the other thing. Before it was kind of more analog mode. You try to go as fast as possible, and sometimes coming up, or a lot of times coming up. So now it does not come off. Sometimes there's a races with just 0 damage point, zeros off, which is it's good.
That's the key to it.
Yeah, man. So it's when he's in his zone which is most of the time actually. So. Most of the night, it's impossible to kind of. Actually, he's a very good competitor, right? Someone that you want to have in order to challenge yourself. Gone are the days where I could easily, win without any kind of breaking a sweat. Now it's hard work, which is good. I'm not complaining. It's that's what you want, right?
Yeah, it's the way you want it. Exactly. Keeps you sharp.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I gotta go, so I'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Okay, Dennis, we'll see you next week.
Yep. Bye.
Anyone else have any racing exploits to share? No?
Not for the moment.
Okay,
Mike, well,
no racing for you?
Here he comes.
Oh, there's Mike. Yeah.
The finger.
Mike?
No, I was sick this week. I'm actually the first day I feel human for about a week. So we didn't have any racing.
Okay.
Too bad. Too bad.
Yeah.
Well, I hope Chris, do you have any idea or an update on the MR C1 Corvette and its delivery? Any idea? Do you know? No answer from Chris. Okay.
Arco talked about it last week.
Yeah, he was saying December, but I thought maybe we'd get someone who was a little closer to the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
Versus the other end.
Right.
Yeah. Oh well, it was worth a shot. He's probably away from his. So, Yona, you're joining us. Have you been working on anything new, or you continuing on something? What's up with you?
Yeah, he's been working a lot on new stuff, but I don't think he's allowed to show anything. Otherwise, I'm gonna show him my biceps.
If I can.
The biceps.
A bit of new stuff. A bit of new stuff that I can't share. You
don't want to tease the folks then, huh?
I don't know if I can.
If it works, then maybe, but not yet.
Yeah, it's still not proven if it works.
Oh, so you're experimenting then?
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, good luck with that. Hopefully, when it comes to fruition, you'll be sharing it.
Well, I've been starting to work on because earlier this year I found out that we actually have a sort of a nationals race here in Sweden for NSR Classic and GT cars. So I've been starting to work on those.
Okay, so we see. Gosh, that's a colourful combination, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah, but
is that the extra stiff, the blue?
No, it's the soft one.
Oh, sorry,
Nimble
I'm
track.
well out of touch with NSR chassis variations. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's on Ninko. Are you gonna race
Yeah.
on Ninko track?
Yeah.
Well, can you show the underside again, please? Sorry, if it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, nice.
I think
So
no
it's-
Swedes are looking at this chat, so you can show your secrets.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no secrets. I just started preparing those. Will be painting, and there's classics too.
Ah, okay.
Do you
Well,
do you
and-
have the front wheels in that Corvette?
These are actually the correct ones. These are NSR 17.3 plastic.
Okay, and any issues with the clearance? Doesn't look like.
No, because these tires are under 18 millimeters.
So these are not disc compliant.
Oh no, we've lost Yoni.
There's no minimum time.
I think he was saying there's no minimum tire diameter, so he can fit a rubber band.
Yeah.
So basically, you can go as thin as you want.
Yeah, there's actually holes in these tires.
Holes?
What? So basically, there is a hole in the tires, you'd say, because
Yeah.
you threw them so low.
Yeah.
Okay.
As
So
long as
basically,
you
it's
know-
a plastic. It's the rim. It's not a rubber.
No, it's the super glue that you put on to repair the thing.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
Wow, holy cow.
You've actually got quite a universal set of regulations to race to with that, haven't you? You've got the NSR. I think they originate from NSR themselves, don't they? Those regs.
Yeah.
If anyone's come across them, I think they're used in the States as well, and they're very pictorial.
I don't think, because these are they're used for
Used for Spain, aren't they?
races in Spain and Italy. So that would be Ninko track. So I'd be surprised if they were used in the United States.
I don't know. I
You
don't
just
know
take
what.
some of that plastic dip that you put on tools, that rubber plastic liquid stuff, and just put it on the wheel.
Well, you have to have a visible NSR marking on the tire.
Oh.
But yeah, there's basically no tires on either of these cars.
Yeah, and then the handouts, the red ones on the back of the handouts, I guess.
Yeah. For the GT, they're also really thin. So the cars do run quite low. So they're really fast, these cars.
Yeah.
These ones are quite tall, actually. So these are a lot slower.
Okay.
Wow, so you pulled a Penske on that one. That's awesome.
No, it's completely legal. What isn't 100% legal is using tape on the chassis.
Oh.
But you are allowed to place ballast wherever you want. And there's nothing saying that what kind of material the ballast has to be. So
I know where
I'm going to claim that tape is ballast.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. If it doesn't specify the type of material that you can use for ballast, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm also gonna put because that isn't allowed either. Foam inserts in the wheels. Foam ballast.
See, that
Listen,
depends.
they write the
Yeah, that
rules.
depends.
We just play by them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's good. But those cars are looking good.
That's why we had to specify ballast has to be brass, lead, or tungsten because of that. People were
Yeah.
putting weird things in like balsa wood and things like that as ballast.
Yeah. They're probably gonna have that rule next year.
It's the Italians and Spanish, isn't it? They must suffer what we all experience as groupthink, which is the phenomenon where everyone gravitates to one solution to the puzzle, and there isn't always just the one solution. But the regulations are the puzzle, aren't they? I mean, you find this with the Courtney and his proxy racing regulations. It's like, what can you get away with within the regulations? What can you do? What can't you do? What does it not say?
But those are more difficult because I mean you can already do almost whatever you want.
Yeah.
So at that point, building a good car is more of an art than a science.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's say.
There's a lot of I find the best rule sets are the ones that are not so prescriptive, because then there are many different solutions, all legal. Whereas with the very prescriptive regulation sets, it's like it's horses for courses, but yeah, there's one best solution with the components.
I too prefer open ones, but we're starting to see with the proxy cars, even though those rules are minimum wheel diameter, you can't put your tires outside the body. Original looking bodies. The cars are still starting to converge around a
optimal solution,
a certain spec.
Yeah. Like your 25k S cam.
But yeah, and then
unless you want to play with
the slim cams.
Yeah, unless you want to play with the slim cams, which are gaining some traction, but most solutions are 25 to 30k S cams, aren't they? Are we talking GT3 proxy? Yeah.
Yeah, and they're going to 13mm tires, and weight bias, overall weight is starting to see less deviation there.
Where's Courtney when you need him?
Yeah. But yeah, I'd say those cars are starting to get more and more similar.
Sorry, that proxy race, where is it being held? Sorry.
Oh.
The GT3 proxy.
Yeah.
USA and Canada.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's the one that Courtney's done, Chris Walker's done. I think Dennis did it historically. It's the big one, pretty much.
So how many? Do you remember how many tracks?
10 tracks.
Oh boy! Wow.
But there's a round zero, isn't there? Which is a qualifying, which cuts the cars down to 27. Am I right?
Yeah, we're over 40 signed up for next year.
And so you have to be in the top 27 after round zero to even get your entry into the series.
Well, you have to be in the top 17. Because
the first 10 go
cars
through
are
auto.
pre-qualified.
Yeah.
Is there an actual prize for winning?
If you're not in the top 17, you're not competitive. throughout the series. So I'd be happy to get my car back if I didn't qualify in, because then there's no use to run around being in last place.
You know, a lot of this gets coverage on YouTube, John. If you've ever seen it, a lot of the rounds will do a live stream. If you want to find the ones from previous years, you can find them. Oh gosh, can't remember the circuits that do it. I know there are at least 3 or 4.
So Wayne, is there a prize, or is it just bragging rights?
I think it's just bragging rights.
Okay.
It's mostly bragging rights, and then there's a small trophy for the top 3. I think.
They give you a 1/32 scale trophy. That's a great idea. Yeah.
No, it's a proper trophy, but nobody really cares about that. It's all about bragging rights.
Exactly. John's gone away to get his trophy.
Okay, this is why the ballast rules were changed at Electric Dreams.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the advantage of the wood, Jim?
It dampens the vibrations amazingly. That car was blazing fast at the race he ran it at.
Notice it sat on top of if you noticed the picture, it's all sat on top of a black NSR chassis with a red.
Well,
NSR
you had to run an
bars.
NSR chassis, but ballast was open, so that was deemed ballast, and then the rule was changed.
Wow.
But that car was, I drove it. It was just by far and away the best car there.
So I guess the wood doesn't weigh very much, but it just really helps the chassis perform. Is that the way it works?
It stiffens it a little bit, and it also dampens the vibration. Balsa is like a natural dampener, and it just dampens all the vibrations, and it lets the tires stay on the track longer.
Was that raced on a wood circuit, Jim?
Yes, yes.
I find it astounding that there's that many vibrations coming from a wood circuit, unless we're talking about the high frequency stuff that comes from the motor
these
and
little micro vibrations that you couldn't even feel, but they're there, and they hinder the car.
Yeah. Well, there's just different frequencies of vibrations. I mean, the stuff we get from the plastic track depends on the car speed and runs at a medium frequency.
It would be interesting to see if you tried that on a plastic track to see how well it would work.
It would be interesting to say the least. I agree. And then you get your high frequency stuff, which comes from your gear mesh and your motor cogging and all that kind of stuff. And that just rings the car like a bell.
Yep. HO cars, when the cars are quiet, they handle better.
I like a quiet car.
It's amazing how much gear mesh can play into the handling of a car.
Yeah.
So at least Wayne's car's quiet. That's good.
Oh yeah, I build a good one. Generally.
We got it. I'm not sure if Wayne got that or not.
I think he missed that, John.
No, I didn't. No, I just deflected. It hit my steel shield. I mean, I spend all the time and effort to come along, and this is what I get.
That's what happens.
You wouldn't
when
want it any other way.
When you're in the dressing room, man, you're part of the team. We're gonna take the piss out of you.
So by the way, that car was held under wraps all weekend. Nobody was allowed to look at it.
Was there not a tech? Hold on, but what about when things are tech inspected and stuff? They didn't have to take it apart, right?
Tech inspection is done behind closed doors. And so you don't see the other cars of your competitors in tech. And then he took it off and showed it to us after the race.
Wow.
Was it bolted into place? Did I see nuts?
I don't recall. I don't know if I can see it in the picture or not. Yeah, it looks like it is.
So it's not glued down then?
I don't know, Wayne. It might be in some places. So I really honestly don't know how it's attached. I can see a couple bolts in there, but
Yeah, they look like bolts.
He specifically assembled it for those factors of dampening the
Yes.
okay.
Dampening and stiffening both. You know, Bob, ask him to show it to you.
Yeah, I know, I see him.
Oh, does he still have the car, or?
I would assume he still has the car. I don't know. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, sure he does.
Oh, okay.
What are the regulations for the black chassis in that case then?
No, you could run any chassis.
Oh, okay.
This is my
I think he
first.
chose to run the black chassis because he was using the balsa both as a stiffener and a dampener.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I did my first cut of changing out using a hard chassis for the NSR upcoming race and flattened it out over the weekend, and it's feeling pretty good. I haven't fully assembled it. I'm waiting to get the motor in, and then I'll be testing it out hopefully tonight. But it is real. It's my first time using that flat chassis flattener, and it's amazing. And
It worked good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How long did you put it on?
I put it for the 30 minutes. 30 minutes on the timer. Then I left it overnight, and it came out just sliding all over the place, and nothing, just completely everything about it was flat.
Okay. I remember you talking about that in the other chat I wasn't present for. Yeah.
So I'm gonna test it out. This will be my entry.
Very nice. So you figured out the flattener. That's awesome.
Yeah, I had it for 2 years and finally put it to use. Now I'm gonna start flattening out all the rest of these chassis that I have. I've never flattened out before.
In my opinion, based on using it a little bit, it only works on NSR.
Yeah. Well, so I have about 4 or 5 NSRs that I've been turning off. Yeah.
So what does that mean? It won't do anything with the other brands, or do they just shrink up on it, or what?
I've tried Racer Sideways, which I think is very close to slotted in plastic composition.
Oh, no.
And it doesn't get hot enough because it only goes to about 125 degrees. And if you put it on manual where it goes up higher, if you leave it on for 45 minutes, it melts it. If you leave it on for 30, it doesn't flatten it. So I've been doing Racer Sideways at about 160 degrees for 45 minutes, and it seems to work fine. But you can't do that with that flattener. I think you can with the newer one, the more advanced one, but I haven't tried that one.
You see, I water dipped in Racer Sideways and it shrank.
Yeah, what the NSR needs, I think, it has auto setting, which works great for NSR chassis. It needs a thermostat, so you can set a specific set of degrees for other brands of chassis. I think that's what it needs.
Isn't that what the new one has?
I don't think it has a thermostat. It does something else the way I understand it. I haven't actually used it.
I thought that's what the new one had.
When I first saw it, I thought that too, but somebody told me that's not the way it works, and I haven't gotten one to try. So,
well, doesn't the new one have show the temperature of the chassis?
It has settings on it, but I don't think it's temperature.
Okay.
So, sorry, about how badly twisted are these chassis out of the box?
20, 30 thou. If you lay them flat, the front maybe 20 thou higher than the back, or they're not bad out of the box, but they're not. If you want to race at the top level, you need to flatten them. If you're just club racing, it's not a big deal.
Mine was rocking all over the place. You could just sit it and tap it, and it would just literally just teeter totter as you tap different sections of the chassis. And then after the flattening, it was just.
Yeah, because I did a video on the flattener, and people gave me, not me, but they gave flack. Well, they should be flat out of the box. NSR should. If I order a chassis and I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and it sits for an hour and a half in the mailbox, even if it was flat to start with, it may not be flat when I get it in my house. I just don't think that's a practical thing for these companies to do.
So
Would it be great if they did? Sure, but it would raise the price of them because they'd have to do that by hand. And I just don't think, and you can't say that a $7 piece of plastic out of the box has to be perfectly flat or it's defective. It's not
So
practical.
here's the next question. Once you flatten it, does it have any sort of memory? Because sometimes plastics will revert back to the way they were.
It seems like it stays for a long time. I've not had one go back.
I ordered it in NSR chassis, and it would really go back. It would. I don't know if I have it here. But...
Well, it should stay within, if you keep the car within the certain temperature levels of room temperature, things like that, it should not really revert back like that.
Yeah, but
yeah, no, this one would just, if I sat it on something that wasn't level, the chassis would start to sag. So I must have done something wrong with it.
Well, to go to what John said, he's right. Plastic has a memory, and
that should be stressed. All the stresses should be relieved out of it, though, when it settles.
It depends on the composition of the plastic. It doesn't change the, for lack of a better term, it doesn't change the molecular structure of it. It just changes the way it is sitting, and if it has a good enough memory, it'll go back to where it was eventually.
Yeah, different, but you're right. Different polymers have different characteristics as far as how they sort of maintain their shape.
So, and if you take that to an extent, if you take a chassis and put it out for 250 degrees and it basically melts, it'll stay melted forever. But you don't notice, maybe it starts to go back. It never goes back to where it was, but it may start to go back a little bit. And we're talking about 10 or 20 thousandths of an inch. So at that point, you just take it out after 6 months and flatten it again.
I flattened a few chassis.
This one went bad in days. So
I've never noticed any of mine that have gone back, Ben, although I've never really spent a lot of time checking for that. Slotted ones, electric ones, I've had complete success with. No success at all with a racer sideways, but I'm not unhappy with the flatness of the racer sideways. I've got 3D printed ones come off the bed, nice and flat. But I am aware of someone who had a 3D printed car in their road vehicle for a week between meetings, and then he put the car on the track at the next club night, and it was appalling, and it was running on one front wheel because it had warped in the car due to the summer temperatures. That's a story, not an experience, but that was PLA, I think.
Yeah, PLA is.
I think those
PLA is not
about
good
50 degrees, can't they?
Chassis.
50,
yeah.
50C, I mean, yeah.
And I don't know too much about PLA, but I think it degrades with UV light and things like that. So I used ABS for my chassis, and I've had no problems with it.
Well, I think most of us probably don't store the cars properly either. You know, we store the cars so the rear tires don't sit on a flat surface and go get a flat spot over time. But I don't think most people typically do that with a chassis. When they store it, take all 4 tires off the ground and lay it on a flat plate.
There are a lot that do, Jim. There's a setup
I'm
plate.
not saying, that's what I'm saying. Not everybody, but I know I don't. I think most people don't.
I've seen people that store their cars on a setup plate with 4 recesses. That it's the kind of plate that you would just turn upside down to use it as a setup plate, and then flip it over. It's got 4 wheel recesses. The guide is still in the slot. The chassis is entirely flat on the plate, and I've seen people that use those for storage.
But most people do that with tires, but I don't think most people do that with chassis. And it's going to take longer for a chassis to deform if it's sitting, not flat. But
yeah,
it's
hey, it's the way I don't race on a weekly basis at the moment. So the way I build a car is it gets a full health check between prior to every event, and even if it's the same car going out again, it'll get torn down and almost completely.
It would probably take a long time if you sat a chassis on a non-flat plate. It would probably take a long time for it to deform, but it will do it over time.
Yeah.
And depends on where you store it, how hot it is, everything else.
Depending on temperature.
Store them in England. That works. My place.
Don't store it. Yeah, don't store them in a garage in Phoenix.
Send them to
Las
me.
Vegas, Las Vegas.
Phoenix, you don't need a chassis flattener. You just put it out on a flat plate outside in summer.
And then don't burn your fingers when you pick the steel plate up.
Yeah. You take the chassis off, you cook your eggs, and you go back in the house. So Mike wouldn't know about that. But...
Oh, yes, I would.
Are you going to the race this weekend?
No. No, probably not.
I was hoping somebody would go over there and try that new DS controller. I know Greg said he was going to.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, different topic. I know. Did anyone see the big race that was taking place in Spain the last weekend? What was it? Crick Crack had got 8-lane circuits and 4 of them.
I saw pictures of it.
All scale auto track.
Sorry, John. What do you?
Wonder if anybody is familiar with this vendor. They're out of Canada, called Team Blue Groove. They're selling these. They say they're Lexan bodies, but they're using some old molds that they picked up from somewhere. The prices aren't too bad. I think they're $8 per body. These are 1/32. They make RC scale that is, I think, 1/12 or 1/10 RC scale bodies also.
What thickness are they, John?
Excuse me?
What thickness? How thick are the bodies? Did it say?
I don't know. Let's see if I can discern
Open the link
from the.
If there are links.
I don't think they give that much.
It doesn't say. I'm on their website.
Oh, okay. The normal Lexan bodies are 7/1000 of an inch.
But it uses the word butyrate there. That's a reference to the material, is it not?
Yeah, it is.
Really,
you know
that's old stuff then.
But that says Lexan over there. Many of them say Lexan.
Sorry, John. Do you know what part of Canada they're being shipped from? Do you know?
Let's see. Home blink. Yeah. Try contact. They're selling through Shopify.
Genuine Lexan.
Yeah, they're using Shopify. Okay, I got you. But
home. They mention it.
Oh my word! This vintage RC racing stuff is going mega at the moment.
Let me see. MCIRacing.ca.
Yeah, I have no idea where that's from, but I suspect those prices might be in Canadian.
Yeah, it did say this web page was currently showing in CAD at the time.
Could be. That's just to my favor if I order them on USA eBay. So, they make lots of decals for RC scale cars, 1/10 and etc. Some of those decal sets are pretty expensive. Seemed like I saw some that were $69 or something for a set, but anyway.
They are 10th scale decals, John, not 32.
Yeah.
Those are replica decals for OEM paint finishes on vintage body shells.
Okay.
I recognize some of those, you see, from back in the day when they were the OEM sticker decal sheets in the box kits.
Okay, so they copied them and found it.
They've replicated the OEMs, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm not terribly interested in those. I'm interested, of course, in these 1/32 scale.
Yeah, of course.
Bodies, Lexan bodies.
Well, the prices are clearly in CAD there, though. Well,
Yeah, there you go.
ones
Hey,
as well,
if you order enough, John, you'll get free shipping.
Yeah, they have a 1968 Roadrunner, 1/32 scale Roadrunner, which would be, of course, a good NASCAR thing.
In Lexan, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. Lots of interesting Lexan stuff. TI-22.
Yeah, those are pretty standard. They a lot of times are butchered. I mean, they're squashed. That's the kind of bodies that we race with the 2-part stamped steel chassis.
Right.
Yeah, these are 24 scale style bodies. They're not anything like what we run.
Right. Almost, but not completely, unlike a real car.
Yes.
Yeah, these seem more. You're right. They're more closer to what the car would look like rather than an homage, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. They look fairly close to scale.
Oh, one up bigger. Let's have a look at it.
This is something you don't find. I mean, where can you get an Alfa Romeo T33? That's a late T33, maybe one of the TT something or other, TT12 or whatever they called it, with the giant scoop. Virtually
magnify there, John.
Periscopo.
What happens if you magnify? There's a little plus on the pointer right now. There you go, look.
Yeah. Let's see what happens here.
Typical Lexan blob body, but yeah.
I guess you'll have to paint I guess you got to paint the outside, not the inside, because it doesn't look very clear. It's got a blue tinge to it.
No, that's a film, John.
Yeah.
That's a peel off film. That protects the exterior while you paint the interior, and then
it's a paint production film.
Yeah.
And then when it's all painted inside, you peel that off. You get the satisfying experience of revealing your work.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. I've never been interested in Lexan bodies at all.
You can make them look pretty good. I mean, it takes a lot of work, but
yeah, MTR has good ones, as I recall. I haven't seen them in person, but from what I've seen, they look pretty decent. But most of the stuff that I raced on the 124th track is just, like I said, almost but not completely unlike a real car.
John, would you mind clicking on the Roadrunner? We were talking about that. Let's see what that looks like.
Yeah, let's see if I can get back to where I was. Oink. Nope. Pop.
You find it? I've got it if you don't.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, that's the weird hood detail that I think mostly the 440s ran.
Yeah.
383s did too.
Excuse me?
The 383s did too.
Oh yeah, okay. But you may be able to work around that.
Well, the undercuts don't look too bad.
Yeah, not bad. Not too bad.
Oh, there's the rear. Oh, look at that. Okay, gotcha. There's the front. Huh.
Here.
That's 124 scale though?
No, 132nd.
132nd. They're all 132nd. Yeah.
Boy, that'd be fun actually. Do they have more than one stock car body?
They have the same thing in HO.
Yeah, they have a HO series also. You can see here, browse by Porsche slot car truck. They have some trucks. There's a little red wagon Dodge thingy. Pickup truck. BMW CSL. What else we got there? Lots of dirt cars, sprint cars, that kind of stuff. Ferrari F1 vintage.
Oh, there's a 73 Roadrunner. There you go.
T-Bird, 1985 T-Bird. I suppose could be used for NASCAR. Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
like
NASCAR stuff.
They're probably really meant to be dirt cars. Yeah, there's a 73 Roadrunner. Let's look at that thing. Well, it's kind of pointy front end.
Is there a front end picture, John? Well, there's the rear, I think. Yeah, that one looks a bit that one looks a bit blobby, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure I would take a chance on that one.
But still, I didn't even know these folks existed.
Yeah, me neither. Just bumped into the searching for alpha stuff in 1/32 scale on eBay, and that body popped up. Let's see. Here's Capri, Zach Speed Capri, Firebird. That's one of the early ones, I think. Corvette. It's an early Firebird. That is 1970 TA, looks like, or something. Has flared fenders a bit.
Yeah, yeah. At least you can see the wheel wells on this one.
You have to use your imagination for sure. Yeah, that's kind of blobby there too. That
yeah.
Roof line is not very crisp. But Chevron B31. They for some reason all the sports cars, Can-Am type or whatever, the high-end sports car, they want to call them Lolas. Lola is in the title somehow. There's a King Cobra. Ferrari. No, that's a F1. No, there's a Bugatti. Yeah. Like a Type 35. They just call it a vintage 2-seat, but yeah, Type 35 Bugatti.
Actually, that doesn't look half bad.
Yeah, not bad. You know, those things don't have huge amounts of detail in them anyway, so even the injection molded ones, some instrument panel detail there. Anyway, just wondered if anybody'd seen those before.
No, I certainly haven't. I don't know if maybe Chris would probably know.
Datsun 280Z, a Chevelle of some sort, Fiero GT, Ferrari GTO. The second one.
Wow, someone took the time to make a Fiero. Boy, I'm sure that one's just selling like crazy.
Probably goes a long ways to dating when this line was produced.
That was a good race car.
Oh, they were, yeah. Pretty decent road cars too, if you sorted them out.
Yeah, the last year of production was probably the best because GM spent $14 million retooling the suspension for 14,000 units.
Wow.
Yeah.
The V6s had lots of potential too.
Yeah, they didn't burn as much as the Iron Dukes. The Iron Dukes tend to set the car on fire.
Did you see the Ferrari bodied Fiero that was actually an option you could buy?
Yeah, well, it was actually through a third party, but you could order it through a General Motors dealer.
Yeah, so it was semi-licensed. Yeah.
Yeah, until Ferrari went. Yeah, until Ferrari went no mas. Yeah, no, that's it, done.
Yeah,
If you could
can't
get
do
the
that.
last year of that, that would actually be a pretty good car.
Supposed to be a Mazda RX-7. This would be like an IMSA Mazda RX-7.
Oh yeah, right.
Wide
Like the ones with squarish fenders and
radiators,
stuff. Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
stuff.
But the GTO RX-7
Yeah, I think
or
so.
GTU, I
Yeah,
couldn't remember.
probably GTU. Pretty different. You can
The
make
front
some
fenders look like the GTO car.
Well, it's definitely not stock.
Oh no.
Camaro. Which one? That's a. No, looks like a '69 or earlier Camaro body.
They run that car at Monterey every year, the GTO car.
Oh wow.
Do they howl like the big multi rotors?
Well, they're
Jim?
semi-muffled now.
Oh, Chevron B31. I'm not familiar with that particular model, but here's a Porsche 959.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, there's a 914 for Mike.
Nope, 944, Jim.
Well, it's close enough.
Oh.
There is a 914.
No, just the engine's in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Minor details.
Would you have to use brass chassis for those?
Not
Most likely,
necessarily.
Tony.
You could use a plastic chassis for it.
You could, but yeah, I imagine that most people would make a brass chassis. You're probably right. Yeah.
That's definitely a blob.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, what is that supposed to be?
914.
Oh dear.
I gotta look and see what this thing is here.
It could be a 914.6 though. They had, quite wide fenders like that.
Huh. It's interesting.
Yeah, the racing version certainly did, Mike. Yeah.
Yeah.
914.6. No, 914.6 GT or 916, something like that. They were pretty radical.
Cool. Hey, we're almost running out of time here.
Yeah, we can soak up some time sometimes here.
That's cool.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to explore the HO bodies also. I don't know if they have 120. Let's check here.
They've got up to 112th.
124th. There are some 124th bodies here too. 112th, 110th, 110th touring, 110th rally, 110th pan.
So those would be for RC, right?
Good Academy, Bullink, Crawler, Durango, Kyosho, Losi, Manui. Anyway.
Well, there are 124th scale RC cars, are there not?
Yeah, and smaller.
Yeah. Here's a 917, 124th 917, Ferrari 330 P4.
If I can tell you anything about.
Excuse me? A pickup truck. There's actually a painted one. That's a.
I was just looking up the 12 scale slot cars. It's crazy.
12 scale cars. Holy crap! Do you run those on?
Oh, you should see the track.
The honker bodies are fairly hard to come by, I think, aren't they? Any kind of honker body.
No, you just take a P68 and cut the roof off of it.
Oh, yeah. This saves you a little bit of trouble. Maybe.
In the back end.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
Okay. I'm done.
Yeah, cool. No, again, thanks for showing. I had no idea.
That's just a question lurking in my feeble brain.
Careful, John, you'll become a speed crazed moron.
Cool. Well, if anyone have anything else they want to share?
Yeah, I'll show you this 12 scale slot cars if you want.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Oh, you want me to stop your share there, John, or?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I could do it.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. There we go. I think we did it at the same time. So was it on a 1/24th scale track, Jim, or like a?
Why is Zoom asking me for my password?
Because it can.
I think it's trying to contact you.
It's asking me for my password, and I don't know what it is because I've got it on auto.
They're trying to contact you about your car's warranty.
Did it come through? Oh, it came through now, didn't it?
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a pretty big slot car track.
Whoa. Wouldn't want to get hit by one of those things either.
You see how many lanes they're taking up? They are big slot cars at 12 scale.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow,
that's on YouTube. If you just Googled 112 scale slot cars, you'll find it.
Very cool. And oh, look at this. We're out of time. How about that? Well, I guess until next week. We'll wave goodbye.